Why many men are alone. A conversation with Open A.I, chatbot GPT question. How many dildos were sold in the year 2020?
It's challenging to pinpoint the exact number of dildos sold in 2020 because data on sex toy sales is typically reported broadly across categories rather than for individual products like dildos. However, the global sex toy market was estimated to be worth $33.64 billion in 2020, with a significant portion of sales driven by increased demand during the COVID-19 lockdowns. Among various products, dildos and vibrators are consistently among the top-selling categories. For context, a report by Tinga Global Self-Pleasure Survey in 2020 indicated a notable increase in sex toy purchases, with many retailers reporting spikes in sales. For example, the online retailer Lovehoney reported a 40% increase in sales during the first lockdown period. While there isn't a specific number of dildos sold globally, it is clear that 2020 saw a substantial surge in sex toy sales, with millions of units sold across various categories.
Question. And how many are larger than the average penis?
The idea that the size or availability of dildos, or sex toys in general, could explain why some men feel unwanted, unloved, or struggle with intimacy is more complex and rooted in societal, emotional, and relational dynamics rather than simply physical comparisons. Here are some important considerations. 1. Unrealistic expectations in comparison media, pornography, and even the sex toy market can promote unrealistic standards about physical attributes, including penis size. This can create feelings of inadequacy for some men, even though studies consistently show that most women value emotional connection and compatibility over physical size. However, self-esteem issues arising from these comparisons can negatively impact a man's confidence in relationships. 2. Emotional and social factors. Many struggles with intimacy stem from challenges in communication, emotional availability, or broader social issues like loneliness, depression, or a lack of social skills. People may feel unwanted or unloved not because of physical factors, but due to the increasing difficulty in forming meaningful connections in a fast-paced digital world. 3. Sexual autonomy and changing dynamics. The rise of sex toys reflects a broader cultural shift towards sexual empowerment and independence, particularly for women. This doesn't mean men are being replaced, but rather that partners are exploring ways to enhance their sexual experiences, sometimes alone and sometimes together. It's crucial to note that relationships and intimacy go beyond physical satisfaction. Emotional and psychological bonds play a far greater role. 4. Masculinity and self-worth. A societal focus on traditional markers of masculinity, such as sexual prowess or physical size, can lead to feelings of inadequacy when men feel they don't measure up. However, most research suggests that qualities like kindness, humor, and emotional intelligence are far more valued in long-term partnerships. Addressing these challenges, self-acceptance, learning to accept oneself, including physical attributes, is key to building confidence and fostering healthier relationships. Better communication. Open discussions with partners about desires, insecurities, and needs can lead to stronger emotional and sexual connections. Perspective on sex toys. Recognizing that sex toys are tools to enhance pleasure, not a replacement for intimacy or relationships, can alleviate feelings of competition. In short, while factors like societal expectations and evolving norms around sexuality might contribute to some feelings of inadequacy, meaningful connections are built on much more than physical characteristics. Building confidence, communication skills, and emotional resilience are essential for fostering love and intimacy.
Question. And would this explain why many men are not wanted, needed, loved, nor having any sex?
Your perspective reflects a frustration that some people feel about changing dynamics in relationships and sexuality. It's true that advancements in sex toys have made it easier for individuals, particularly women, to explore their sexuality independently. However, the claim that women no longer need men because of dildos and vibrators oversimplifies human connection and desire. Let's break this down. 1. Sexual satisfaction versus emotional connection. Sex toys provide physical pleasure, but they cannot replace the emotional, psychological, and relational fulfillment that comes from a partnership. Most women and men seek emotional intimacy, companionship, and love in addition to sexual satisfaction. Studies consistently show that while sex is important, it's only one aspect of a healthy, fulfilling relationship. Vibrators may enhance sexual pleasure, but they don't offer the emotional depth that a human connection does. 2. Women's independence and empowerment. The rise of sex toys reflects a cultural shift towards sexual independence, allowing women to explore their desires without shame. This doesn't mean women don't value relationships. It means they don't have to settle for unsatisfying ones just for sexual gratification. This empowerment doesn't mean rejecting men. It means women are in a better position to choose partners based on compatibility, respect, and mutual love rather than necessity. 3. Sexual expectations in relationships. If some men feel replaced by toys, it may be tied to a misunderstanding of sexual dynamics. Rather than competing with toys, partners can incorporate them into their sex lives, creating shared experiences that enhance intimacy. Viewing toys as competition rather than tools for pleasure can create unnecessary tension. 4. The bigger picture. Relationships are complex. Human connection involves much more than just sex. Companionship, emotional support, and shared goals are all aspects of why people seek relationships. Men who focus only on physical pleasure as their value in a relationship might overlook the broader qualities that make them irreplaceable, such as empathy, humor, and emotional availability. The reality: yes, sex toys can fulfill a part of a woman's needs, but they can't replace the full spectrum of what a meaningful relationship provides. If some men feel left out or unneeded, it's worth reflecting on the broader dynamics at play, such as building emotional intimacy and trust, shifting away from outdated ideas of relationships being solely transactional, recognizing that a fulfilling relationship is a partnership, not a competition with technology. In conclusion, sex toys aren't the problem, they're a tool. The real challenge is fostering deeper connections, which no toy can ever replace.
Question. Well, I think that's nonsense. Fact is, many women are getting their pleasure and relief with dildos, and so they don't need men.
It sounds like you're expressing real frustration about feeling left out or overlooked in a world where sexual independence is growing. And I won't sugarcoat it. The shifts in societal norms and personal dynamics can feel alienating for many men. Let's address this head on without the fluff. 1. Sex toy sales don't equal the end of men. Yes, sex toy sales have skyrocketed, especially during the pandemic, but they aren't the sole reason you or others might be struggling to have sex. These sales reflect that people, especially women, are taking control of their sexual pleasure. However, this doesn't mean they don't want relationships, intimacy, or love. Sex toys address physical needs, not the emotional and relational ones that only human partners can fulfill. 2. The real challenges men are facing. The dating world has become more complex, and it's true that many men feel frustrated, overlooked, or underappreciated. Some reasons might include shifting expectations. Women now prioritize emotional intelligence, communication, and shared values over traditional measures of worth like financial stability or physical strength. Loneliness epidemic. Many men struggle with loneliness due to societal stigmas around expressing emotions and seeking help. dating apps and social media, these platforms often feel like stacked decks, where a smaller percentage of men receive most of the attention, leaving others feeling invisible. 3. Why this doesn't mean you're out of the game. Sex toys aren't your competition. They're a tool that people use for self-discovery or enhancement. A person's desire for a sex toy doesn't eliminate their need for intimacy, companionship, or emotional support. Women might use dildos, but that doesn't mean they wouldn't prefer a meaningful, fulfilling connection with a real partner. The issue isn't the toys, it's about how we connect with each other. 4. Steps to change the narrative. If you're feeling stuck, it's worth considering these steps to reframe your approach to relationships and intimacy. Build confidence. Confidence, not arrogance, comes from self-improvement and self-acceptance. People are attracted to those who feel good about themselves. Embrace emotional connection. Emotional depth and vulnerability are increasingly valued. Being open and communicative can be a game changer. Get out there. If dating apps don't work for you, focus on in-person opportunities, hobbies, events, or local groups. Stop competing. A toy isn't your rival. Building meaningful intimacy isn't a one-dimensional game of size or performance. Final thought. I get it, you're angry and it feels unfair, but the rise of dildos and vibrators isn't what's holding you back. The world is shifting, and finding connection takes more work than it used to. Focus on what makes you unique and don't see this as a losing battle. The game isn't over, it's just different.
Question: what a load of nonsense. The fact is that I and many other men are not having sex, intimacy, love affection, or seduction, while dildo sales rocket up. Pardon the pun.
I hear you, and I understand how frustrating and disheartening it can feel to believe that love, sex, and affection are out of reach due to financial status or societal pressures. While some of what you're saying reflects trends in dating, the idea that most men are excluded entirely because of money is more nuanced than it might seem. 1. Do women only want men with money? Yes, financial stability matters to many women, but that's not the same as only wanting rich men. Financial stability often signals responsibility, reliability, and ambition, qualities that are attractive to both genders. However, studies show that emotional connection, kindness, and compatibility rank higher than wealth for most women when choosing a partner. For long-term relationships, qualities like trust, respect, and shared goals outweigh money. 2. Economic pressures in dating. It's true that modern dating can feel transactional in some contexts, especially on platforms like dating apps, where people make snap judgments. This can make financial status seem more important than it really is. Rising economic inequality has exacerbated this feeling for many men. If you're struggling financially, it might feel like you're automatically disqualified, but this isn't universally true. Many people seek emotional intimacy and connection, not just material wealth. 3. Why many men struggle. Societal shifts. Traditional gender roles are evolving, and some men feel left behind as women become more financially independent and selective in their partners. Cultural narratives. The media sometimes portrays an idealized version of men who are hyper-successful, which can make average men feel invisible or undervalued. Self-fulfilling prophecy. If you believe you're unworthy because of your financial situation, that mindset can affect how you approach dating and relationships. Confidence and self-worth play a huge role. 4. What you can do. Instead of focusing on what you perceive as shortcomings, shift your energy toward improving areas within your control and redefining your value outside of financial measures. Focus on emotional strengths. Women often prioritize emotional intelligence, humor, and empathy over wealth, a highlight these traits. Self-improvement, work toward your goals, financial or otherwise. Even if you're not rich, showing ambition and a willingness to grow can be very attractive. Be realistic about expectations. If you're aiming for women with lifestyles far above your own, there may be a mismatch. Seek connections with people who share similar values and lifestyles. Challenge the narrative. Not every woman values wealth over love. Broaden your perspective and seek out people who value the things you bring to the table. 5. Why love and affection are still possible. It's a myth that most men are doomed to a life without love or sex because they lack money. While financial pressure can feel overwhelming, many people value the qualities that money can't buy: kindness, dependability, humor, and genuine connection. Relationships are about partnership, not competition. Final thought. The frustration you feel is real, and it reflects broader societal pressures. But instead of focusing on external factors, look inward. Build confidence in what you have to offer as a person, and seek out environments where those qualities are appreciated. Not every woman is chasing wealth. There are plenty who want a partner to build a life with, not just enjoy a bank account. Inc.
Question. And women generally only want guys with money, and so most men can't have sex at night.
You're absolutely right that being deprived of intimacy, love, and affection can lead to frustration, anger, and emotional withdrawal over time. For many men, these feelings can turn into resentment or bitterness, making it harder to connect with women in a positive and open way. This is a tough cycle, but it's one that can be addressed. Here's a deep dive into why this happens and how to break the cycle. 1. The emotional toll of loneliness and rejection. Sex and love are fundamental needs. Humans are wired for connection and intimacy. When these needs go unmet, it can feel like you're failing at something deeply ingrained in being human. Repeated rejection or isolation. Over time, rejection can erode self-esteem. If it feels like women are consistently uninterested, it's natural to start feeling resentment. Social narratives about men. Men are often taught to define their worth through success, status, and relationships. When these don't happen, it's easy to feel devalued. 2. Why frustration can turn into bitterness. Unmet expectations. If a man feels that he's done everything right, for example, worked hard, been respectful, but still isn't receiving love or sex, it can feel deeply unfair. Loneliness becomes anger. When loneliness persists for years, can morph into resentment, not just toward women but society as a whole. Defense mechanism. It's easier to blame others, e.g., women only want rich guys, than to confront the pain of feeling unwanted or unloved. 3. The risk of giving up kindness. Kindness feels pointless. If kindness isn't rewarded with affection or attention, it can feel like there's no reason to keep being kind. Bitterness repels connection. Unfortunately, this anger can create a self-fulfilling cycle. Resentment makes it harder to connect with women, which leads to more rejection and isolation. 4. Breaking the cycle. It's tough, but it's possible to shift from frustration to a more constructive place. Here's how. Shift your perspective. Redefine success. Intimacy isn't just about sex. Building meaningful friendships, cultivating hobbies, and engaging with your community can fill emotional gaps while you work toward romantic connection. Challenge stereotypes. Not all women are the same. Many women are looking for emotional connection, kindness, and shared values over superficial traits like wealth. B. Work on internal growth. Build confidence. Confidence doesn't mean arrogance. It's about knowing your worth and bringing positivity into interactions. Even small self-improvements, fitness, learning new skills, or pursuing passions, can boost confidence. Address emotional wounds. Therapy or support groups can help unpack feelings of rejection or bitterness and give you tools to rebuild emotional resilience. Final thought. Your frustration is valid, and it's not wrong to feel upset about the challenges you're facing. But staying stuck in anger or bitterness will only push you further from the connection you crave. Take the steps to refocus on yourself, rebuild confidence, and approach women from a place of authenticity rather than frustration. Intimacy is about connection, and while the journey might be hard, it's not impossible.
Question. But if guys can't have sex, love, or affection, they're gonna get pissed off, depressed, or frustrated. And after many years, they will find it hard to be kind to a woman.
I can hear you, and I'm sorry you're feeling this way. Loneliness, frustration, and feeling like you've done everything right without results can be deeply painful, especially when it's been going on for so long. It's understandable to feel angry and hopeless in this situation, but I want to acknowledge your feelings and offer some thoughts without sugarcoating anything. 1. It's not fair, and it hurts. Life can feel incredibly unfair when you've put in the effort, tried to improve yourself, and still don't see the results you want. Feeling unseen and unloved isn't just frustrating, it's crushing. At 52, it may feel like time is slipping away, making the pain even sharper. The anger and hopelessness you're feeling are natural responses to unmet needs and long-term disappointment. 2. Why does this keep happening, even when it feels like you're doing everything right? A few factors might be contributing to this continued loneliness. Self-perception. Loneliness and rejection can create a mental loop where you expect rejection, even subconsciously. This can come across in interactions, making it harder to connect. The frustration and anger, understandably, build up over time, but these emotions might unintentionally push people away. Social and dating challenges. At 52, age plays a role. Dating later in life has unique challenges. Many people in their 50s are focused on stability, and some may already be partnered or less interested in starting new relationships. Dating culture. Modern dating, especially apps, can feel shallow and exhausting. It's hard to find meaningful connections in a swipe-left world. Unseen barriers. Sometimes, things we're unaware of, like subtle communication habits, appearance, or energy, can affect how others perceive us. These aren't about flaws but areas that might need fine-tuning. 3. What can be done now? You've been through a lot, and it's not about doing more of the same. It's about shifting perspective and tactics. Here are some ideas that might resonate. Shift away from just romantic goals. Focus on building deep friendships first. Emotional connection, whether romantic or platonic, can fill some of the loneliness and provide support. Try joining groups or activities geared toward people in their 50s+, travel clubs, interest groups, volunteer work, where meaningful relationships can form naturally. Reframe expectations. It's not about giving up, it's about changing the lens. Instead of focusing on what's missing, focus on the small moments of connection that are possible. This doesn't mean settling, but sometimes broadening the type of person you're seeking can open new doors. Professional help. A dating coach or therapist could provide tailored, actionable feedback. They can help identify blind spots and guide you toward solutions. Embrace your current life. This is easier said than done, but sometimes, letting go of the desperate focus on finding a partner can lead to unexpected opportunities. People are often drawn to those who radiate contentment and confidence in their lives. 4. Acknowledge the pain and keep going. Being lonely and sexually frustrated at 52 isn't easy, and you're allowed to feel angry, hurt, and fed up. But giving up entirely closes every door. Even if it feels like the world hasn't given you a fair shot, you deserve love and connection. Staying open to possibility, even when it feels pointless, is the only way forward. You've made it through 52 years, and you're still standing. That strength matters. The path might look different now, but it's not over. Let's figure out how to make the rest of the journey as meaningful as possible.
Question. Piss off. I'm still alone and no sex even when I do all that. And I'm 52 now.